I saw this picture recently of expectation versus reality of what Zen actually is. Expectation being that Zen is feeling like, surrounded by a serenity, when actually, matter of fact, it's surrounded by the fiery gates of hell. Surrounded by all your deepest triggers, all your deepest wounds, all the things that terrify you the most, being able to retain that inner connection and everything being able to happen and nothing changing inside. I had the experience of the expectation versus reality recently, returning to the ashram of my guru, Amma, in India, where last time I wanted to move there and be a nun forever, give up all my life. I could understand why people didn't want to leave, why people became nuns, why people offered their lives up to God. I'd never understood this concept before. It was so alien to me. I was like, oh, I get it now. I actually need nothing. You can take it all. Even my fairy tale fantasy of like getting married and living happily ever after, take that too. Don't need a man. I have God. and I guess returning again, I just felt this real strong inner psychic call from my guru to return. And it kept happening. I sat with it. It kept happening. So I was like, okay, I'll go back. And I wanted to get my book blessed as well. When I got there, I had very much the expectation happen very quickly. I was like, oh, this is why I could live here forever, in this place that looks like nothing like I would ever like imagine my life to picture looking like. You know, with Maureen the rat and Henry the cockroach living in my room. Very content. And I went very deep into silence and connected to this place that just felt like magnetism of peace. It's just like utter serenity. What you imagine it looks like, it feels like inside, but it doesn't. It feels like, I guess you would describe it in that picture, but it's just such this incredible deep rest, like feeling, you know, when people say rest in peace when you die. I was resting in peace. I was like, oh, this is relaxation. Oh, this is what everything we're really doing, all the preparation is about, is to go into the state and be able to stay there inside. And shortly after that, after experiencing this, I was like, this is brilliant. I'm going to stay here for ages. Why would I ever go anywhere else? I love it so much. I love this feeling. This is so great. Shortly after, I started to be presented with all my greatest triggers on the regs on a daily basis. It was so intense. It was my birthday, and that's always been a real sensitive time for me as like a people pleaser, a reformed people pleaser. Definitely a reformed. I'm a no people pleaser these days. There's lots of people I'm definitely not pleasing by making the choices I make, but hey, that's the kind of stage of the journey I'm on. You know, people pleasing, sort of over giving, extremely empathetic, like to a fault. My birthday used to be like the one day, it was never just one day that I celebrated it, but like the one period of the year that I had deemed it was okay for it to be about me. The one day, I have this one celebration that is about me, birthday, and maybe a little bit Christmas, because I just loved Christmas. And so there was so much pressure and expectation for this one day for me to receive all the love, all the receiving of all the giving that I did. The other 50, call it 50 weeks of the year. There was always like a surrounding birthdayness. And this year, I was in an ashram with no attention, no celebration, no plan, so to speak, for it, other than, I guess, the opportunity to receive darshan, which is a blessing from my guru on my birthday, which I knew on a deep spiritual level was like, what more could I ask for, right? I get to spend my birthday in the presence of God, in the presence of like a self-realized master, where like my literal wishes, like deepest wishes, could come true. But on an egoic, personal level, the person that still, presents herself every so often, she's like, what about me? What about my birthday? Are people not making a fuss of us? Are we not being celebrated? Is it not gonna? You're not having a thing this year? Like, what's happening? Like, we're not going all out. We're not going drinking and dancing. We're not having a big cake and a meal and a 4-course birthday celebration thing all around in all these different places with all these different people. It's very much how my birthday used to be. Not even gonna wear a pretty dress. Not even gonna buy anything for yourself. Like, chaos, absolute chaos. And yeah, I wept. I wept a lot. And but I think it was needed, right? Because you don't transform through just like saying, oh, this is how I wish to be. You get given the opportunities to actually do that and release what needed to be released and move through. My mum said something that I kind of held on to, it's just the day you were born. It was just the day I was born. Spirituality is all about releasing attachment to the outcome, letting go of expectations, attachments, connecting within and allowing the world around you to flow as a result of that. And what greater birthday present than to release what didn't serve me, this lofty expectation of what I expected people to offer me on the day I was born. But in the build up to it, it was like Trigger Town. It was just like, difficult conversations with people telling me things that they didn't like about me. Or like old wounds resurfacing, like 10 years hadn't passed. I was just like, what is this? And I remembered I get the opportunity to choose to respond differently. I'm being given these things that are really difficult as an offering to show up and show that I behave differently now. Not just because I say I do, but because when presented with the exact same thing, I don't respond in the same way as I did before. There's no reaction, or there was a bit of reaction, but at least I'm aware of the reaction and I have the toolkit and the awareness to bring myself back ground. This happened on a deeply personal level. And then after my birthday, it was just happening non-stop. Every day in the ashram, it was just so intense. Triggers that I kind of had like even forgotten about. I guess they were like unconscious beliefs, things that were really deep, things that I thought got over. I mean, I've been 6 foot since the age of 10, and as an adult, that's fine. The height thing, once you get to be about 21, other than finding men, it never really presented itself as any issues anymore. But the teenage years was very isolating, because I was a giant. I was the tallest person in the year for the first whole 3 years of school, and taller than all the boys, like just double the size of all my friends, and stood out like a sore thumb. And that was really uncomfortable. It was really like I've always sort of felt like I didn't belong. That's been my little thing, like I had this little hole. I feel like I don't belong anywhere. I go and search for belonging, and I find belonging within now. but externally I've always kind of felt a little bit like I didn't fit in any specific place. And then I'm standing out and literally physically don't fit. It's a physical manifestation of my inner belief. And people started telling me that I was too tall in the ashram. People started telling me that I couldn't sit there, I was too tall, I was being selfish, I was in the way, like every day. And, you know, people moving me about, being like, no, you can't go there, you're too tall, no, you can't go there, you're too tall. And I was like, what is this? And I had to go and have little cries about it. It would get really intense. People telling me that I wasn't being considerate of others because I was so tall, and I was just like, I was literally just born this way. Do you want me to go and sit in the back corner? Which I guess is a lot of where I've been sort of putting myself, in the back corner, because of not wanting to stand out, because of having stood out so much. But part of this whole work and what I feel called to do and the person I feel called to be in the role I know I'm like drawn to playing is out. So it was this gift that was given through every day of being told I was in the way, and eventually just having to get used to it, and eventually finding like equanimity with it. That like you're kind of like, yeah, I am in the way. What are you going to do about it? I can't really. It's just a deep acceptance of it. It's no longer a kind of like, ooh, ow. It's like, yeah, just is what it is. It's a neutrality. And that is super, super freeing. And you know, the beautiful thing about living with an enlightened master is that you get given this portal of, which is like a rocket ship of your personal evolution. So a dissolving of the self, a freeing, a releasing of all these blocks that are in the way of like being able to maintain this connection to who you truly are, like more consistently. Well, you know, and you accept and trust that everything in that environment is happening for your greatest good. I can trust it in there. I've experienced it enough, I've tasted it enough, I've witnessed it enough. I've seen my own evolution happen within that environment that I know I can trust it. So you lean into it, and everything that's painful, you're like, oh, okay, what is this showing me? What is this mirroring? What is this why is this being given to me? What belief am I holding that this is showing me? And that helps you move through these layers and layers of self, where you see that, okay, well, if this is happening, this is because I align with this in some way, conscious or not. Somehow I'm aligning with this if it's being presented with me. And how do I want to behave? Who do I want to be, and how does that person behave in response to this? So you can look at life this way as, why is this being shown to me? Why is this being given to me? What part of me aligns with this, and how do I choose to respond? How does the person I wish to be, or how does the person I know deep down that I am choose to respond? Where am I perpetuating a pattern? Where am I keeping this alive? And what can be released and transformed and transmuted and transcended? Don't get me wrong. It is not easy. It is not easy. It's really, really freaking hard. I felt like I was undergoing surgery. I felt like I was on a surgery table, awake, having my organs played with, having blah, 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 and I wanted to run away. Really, really wanted to run away. But you can't get off a surgery table when a surgeon's operating on you. So I didn't leave the ashram. I stayed. But I did. I have left now, though. And I am really happy. Well, my nervous system is very happy to be a person for a bit. To do this whole in between stage. I think I'll record a different video on this. But yeah, there's a time and a place for intense processing of the layers of what doesn't serve you. But there's also a time and a place for calm, and now is the time for calm. Calm is the reward.